Good afternoon, everyone. This is Michael Venezia, the head of the Equity Trading Division here at Tradeview Markets, and this is our webcast for Friday, February 20th. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us. We hope the trading is going well. There has been some geopolitical news, a little Greek hangover. We had the Fed decision, some Fed minutes. We're at all-time highs, so we continue to go with the trend. But this week I'm going to talk about, it's really a combination of my last two webcasts upon this week, and that is 2 weeks ago I talked about trading relative strength to that opposed to the market indices, and last week I talked about special situation stocks, individual stocks that have range, volume, and price action that move independently of market trends and usually by fundamental news as noted by last week's webcast. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to actually combine the two. I'm going to talk about trading groups, trading group momentum and or sectors. Now, what I look for here is generally knowing your universe and knowing which groups trade together. Gold stocks go along with gold. Oil stocks go along with oil. You can trade semiconductors, usually trade in tandem, usually at this fundamental news and hopefully by best of breed. Certain times they rotate, traders rotate into the biotech sector. And that's usually on just because they have nothing else to play. So with that being said I'm going to use the solar sector. The ETF is TAN, Tom, Apple, Nancy. It's not that actively traded, but just get familiar with this. So the solar sector is highly leveraged to crude and has been a high flyer for many years, but until the recent correction of crude going from $100 and change back to the mid-40s or even low 50s, as I said, is highly leveraged to crude. So who's going to really want to, pay for solar panels when crude's at $45 as opposed to them not wanting to pay at $100? So that's why this sector kind of corrected. But once again, knowing your universe, you'll know that this sector is highly leveraged to move. The stocks move in tandem and move in groups. And I'm going to give you a great example of what happened last week. Okay, here we go. We have a chart on the SPYs. Discount this little blurb here. So we are at all-time highs on the SPYs. Let's point up a chart on USO, the crude chart, obviously in a big state of correction. But let's go to TAN. That is the solar index, 25% off its low. We'll go to a year to date. That's what it's done the past since the beginning of the year. And we'll go back to 6 months and what this has done. So let's go to CSIQ, which is the reason why I wanted to do this webcast. Okay. On February 4th, CSIQs had fundamental news. You can see the stock was hovering around a year low, 18 and change, trying to build a base. So here we go. CSIQ had 14 million shares that day as opposed to 2.5 million. So the stock, as you can see here, opened up on a gap up, opened up at 23.53 after closing at 21 and change. By the way, if you can see, that was the low of the day. The stock had range, volume, closed near the high, closed at $27.13. No doubt a big move on fundamental news. The stock based a little bit, pulled back a couple of dollars, and is continuing to go up or break a downtrend, if you will. It's something that I've been trading. But let's look what we're talking about this because let's look at the groups. Fizzler, for solar, arguably the best of breed, reacted as well. That stock that day went from $42.90 to $48. That's a big move. And that day also had, 4 days ago, also had range of 45 to 48. So now you know these stocks, the two best stocks in the group are the best of breed, once again, Fizzler and CSIQ. But if you can see, SPWR, also a solar stock, you can see made a move from 24 to 27. You can look at a small solar stock, TSL, Trinity Solar. I mean, it's not a barn burner, but the stock went from $9 to $11. You can look at SUNE, the former WFR, wafer. It's a big position in David Einhorn's portfolio. You can see what SUNE did. SUNE went from $18.60 to $22. Now, once again, you have to know your groups, and the solars are a group that trades in tandem. Now, let me use the biotech example for example. if the big five, Gilead, Biogen, Celgene, Amgen, if Gilead has a change of pricing up or down on one of their drugs, certainly I wouldn't expect Amgen or Biogen or Celgene to move on that because that's individual company news. But when the market is at all-time highs and you might have the technology stocks, or Apple Computer, for example, making all-time highs, that stock might rest and they might go into another sector, whether it be a sector coming off the bottom or another stock where we talk about a resumption trade. So I'll get more in depth about groups and group momentum going forward, especially more sexier groups, if you will, and with a lot more stocks in the sector. But I wanted everybody to get a frame of reference on what I'm talking about momentum sectors going forward, because, I mean, who wouldn't want to make money in 5 stocks in a group instead of just trading 1 stock? I do. So with that being said, I want everybody to get familiar with these. I want everybody to do their homework and trade well. And let me digress and just say that I want to thank everybody for signing up for our manual, which you can see on either the Tradeview website or our Facebook or one of those outlets. So I applaud everyone and thank you for signing up. We're very proud of it. This is our first push into the equity division, so I can definitely tell everyone that this is our stamp. So we want to make a good first impression, and we know you're going to gauge us on that. So please, everyone that hasn't signed up, go to the website. I personally write everybody a thank you note. If you have any questions, please feel free to answer. But until then, everybody, once again, trade well, and thank you for tuning in.